NewsFirst Prime. We have with us the Minal Murli, Tovino Thomas and Harish Uttabri. Please welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Actually, why Minal Murli? Because kids here in Bangalore don't know Tovino Thomas, but they definitely know Minal Murli.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to grow up.
No, they've already grown up. It's quite some time. They've already grown up. So talking about your movie, A.R.M. itself. So we saw you in 3 different characters. What made you feel that you have to take up this?
The trust they had in me, which I didn't have in myself. So I've never thought of playing 3 different characters in a movie ever. And when they came with these 3 characters, I told them, why don't we cast 2 other actors and I'll play 1 character among this. So it will be a multi-starrer, it will be a bigger movie then. Then they explained to me why I had to play 3 different characters. When you watch the movie, you will also understand. And also, as an actor, it was a challenge for me. So I accepted that challenge, but I didn't know how to face that. So I went on extensive training in Kannada and I went for an acting workshop with the director and just to know how I can differentiate 3 different characters. I can design it earlier so that I can improvise with this, keeping this as the base, the preparations, whatever I've done. And that's when I got that confidence to do that. Before that, I've never thought of doing 3 different characters in a movie. I've done 2 characters, like in Minal Murli also, I'm playing Jason's father. And there are other movies also. But 3 characters, and that also was very brief ones. The second character would be very brief. Whatever double act I've done, the second character will be very brief. But this was 3 characters, 3 different characters.
Which was more challenging among the 3 roles?
For me, all the characters I do is challenging. All the characters are challenging because I cannot behave as Tovino. I have to design a behavioral pattern for 1 character and I need to behave as that character. So it's always challenging. Whichever character I do, it's always challenging. And I like it that way, like that's how you grow.
Nowadays, there's extensive body transformation which happens. Did you happen to do something like that for this movie?
I do that depending on the characters. So I when you look at it, I'll be at least 5-6 kilos lesser than what I have. Now I must be around 80-82. I was 76 when I played that character. But for that also, I was practicing Kalaripaittu. And I used to weight train depending on the character. For Ajayan, I didn't weight train much. For Maniyan, I had weight training. And for 3rd character, for Kunnikelu, I had to look like a warrior. So I had to put on some weight, put on some muscle, not so. And without losing my flexibility, I had to do that. So I do that along with the shoot. Whenever shoot is happening, I'll change my diet and workout little by little so that I can look like that character. We don't have that luxury of taking few months off to prepare for that character. When I was doing another movie, the movie which I did just before this, its name was Invisible Windows, Adrishya Jalangal. That's when I started preparing for this character. Likewise, the movie after this, I'll prepare for that movie while I am doing this movie. We don't have that luxury of taking an off, going somewhere, transforming body and coming back because our industry is comparatively way too smaller.
Sorry, I see it this way. When he says he doesn't have the luxury, I know how much he loves films and if he wants, he can always take that, but he chooses not to. I know him since 2016-17 and I think since then we talk about films. So I know how much film he has in his head and mind and heart. So that involvement, that interest, that kind of passion he has towards this films and cinema, movies, and that is what is making him run like this. And it's so amazing to I think there'll be a point if I feel little lethargic or something, I think of him, I get some energy or I get some positive energy to make that effort. That's such a, because he's completely passionate towards
I
films.
don't
That's
know anything else. I mean, I always
That's
think,
what I'm
what
saying.
if I
Cinema is what you breathe.
this is what I love, this is what I know at least a little. I know nothing else.
So are you anxious before every movie release? And so considering this is your 50th movie,
Before release, I don't think I'm anxious, but before acting in a movie, I'm always anxious. And I'll look for validation from my director, writer, and people around me, because that's how I know if I've done good or bad. And I depend very much on the writer and director. I depend on the script, I depend on the director's vision. So I have that anxiety before starting the shoot of a movie. But once I mean, get into the character, and that happens in 4-5 days usually. So that 4-5 days I've started taking as preparation now. Like that 4-5 days of preparation will help us to be prepared on the first day of shoot. So I'll be in the character from the first day. So that's how I overcome that anxiety. And once the movie is released, there is no point in being anxious, or when it's nearing its release, there is no point in being anxious. It's our part is already done. Rest of things we cannot do anything about it. If the movie works for the people, yeah, we'll be very happy. If it doesn't, we'll be sad, but we'll give some time for that and then move on. There is no point in being anxious, because this exam is already written. Now only waiting for the results.
the result doesn't matter. So what is your role in this movie?
So I play a role called, my character's name is Sudev Verma. He's basically a business guy, entrepreneur. He comes from Bombay, and in 90s, a guy from Kerala, who has a business in Bombay, had a, it's kind of, he's like a sorted guy type. So, Sudev is also very sophisticated. I'm not a villain in this film, or I wouldn't call myself a villain. We all have our own aim and our own ambition. We would be going towards something in our life, and and Sudev is also such a guy, and he goes towards it, and he doesn't mean any harm to anybody. Yeah, he's on it.
Okay, this, as we saw the teaser, it says something about your grandfather, and is it some kind of a relationship between a grandfather and a grandson, or he's trying to rectify something?
Manian and Ajayan, they are related, which we are. I mean, Manian's daughter is Ajayan's mother, so he's the grandson. And about the first two characters, I mean, Kunyikelu and Manian, you'll find it out when you watch the movie if they are related. But this relation between Manian and Ajayan is that is one of the main aspects of the movie. As in, Ajayan has to live with the name of a thief's grandchild, and he'll be fingers will be pointed at him whenever a theft happens in that village. He is always seen as a thief's grandson who has that legacy of grandfather, and people always corner him saying that. So that is the situation in which Ajayan has to live. So there is this connection.
So is the grandfather Robin Hood kind of a thief? Or
Not really. He's a rebel, and he's not a Robin Hood. He doesn't steal and give to people. It's not Robin Hood. He does it. He has his own ideology for doing everything, and even maybe this attitude, rebel attitude, is making him do all these things. Maybe he is against the norms of the society. Maybe he is not able to digest that.
We see a grandmother telling the story to a grandchildren. Have you heard grandmother stories from your grandmother?
I think I've heard more stories from my mother than my grandmother. And the person who plays that grandmother, she is also playing Manian's wife. It's Ajay's grandmother, so Manian's wife. So it's Surabhi Lakshmi, a National Award winning actress who has portrayed that character. And she has done a brilliant job because the younger version and older version, she has pulled it off with ease.
You have 3 different heroines. Who was your favorite?
Like 3 different romantic tracks were very different from each other. Like the equations between the hero and heroine. In first romantic track, the hero is dominating. Heroine is not, dominating because of the socio-political scenario around them. It's in 1700s. And second character in 1950s, both of them are treating each other equal, so that they have this companionship kind of thing. And third one, the girl is dominating in that relationship. So when you look at it, it's 3 different kind of romantic tracks, and I got amazing actresses playing opposite to me. So it was a very good experience. I don't put marks for my co-actors. I love working with amazing actors, and that's it. I don't rate them, or that's not my way of doing it.
Now, since Hombale is distributing your movies, how is it? How do you see it? Is it a kind of good boost for you?
Definitely. Hombale is already a brand, and they have given pan-Indian hits like KGF 1, KGF 2, Kantara, and also I think associating with them, and they wouldn't have associated with us if they didn't believe in this movie. So them believing in this movie, associating with us, it gives us this boost of energy. Also, when we are associating with such a brand, our movie is also considered having such a brand value.
You worked in Kannada industry, so how do you feel Kannada industry?
Yeah, I did Rustam, and now I'm doing a film called Talwarpete with Vasishtha Simha. So that's half the way.
How is it working here in Bangalore?
I don't see any difference. I think, every director is different. So I think that is the only difference I see. Now A.R.M. director Jitin, he approaches the actors, and how he derives from the actors is different. He is not a great actor, but he always gives us inputs, but some of the directors, they act and show us. Some of the directors, so every director has a different way, and that is the only difference I see. I don't see any difference between, the industries as such. And post-COVID, I don't think, we still call it Kannada film, and it's because of the language, but I don't think there is, much of barrier. Maybe a little, but there are directors and actors going across languages, and acting and directing and doing cinematography, and all the technicians going across industry. All that is happening. I think it's a very, very welcoming thing. So I don't see it as Kannada industry. For me, any movie is a movie. For me, any character
industry is an industry.
You also have a very good rapport with the Kannada industry. We've seen Yash release your Minal Murli teaser and all. So what is the bond you share with him?
I've spoke to him a couple of times. I've met him during 2019 Saima. Yeah, and
you discuss movies and all?
No, I don't barge into anyone's space, and because he must be so busy. I know that, and I respect that. But whenever I watch a movie of him, or whenever I find something interesting about him, I text him, and I tell that to him, and that's it. And he has been very kind to me. Very sweet. I remember for sharing this trailer, I personally called him up, and in first 10 seconds, he agreed to share the trailer. Then next 10 minutes, we were talking about his kids and my kids. So he also has one daughter and a son. I also have one daughter and a son. So we were talking about all these things. And more than cinema, we were talking about all these things.
Now, since Geeta Mohandas from your industry is
Geetu,
directing,
Geetu.
Mohandas from
She doesn't like mispronouncing her
I'm
name.
sorry
Geetu.
about that. Geetu Mohandas, she's directing Yash. So, I mean, have you had a chance to talk with her?
No, she's a very good friend of mine. We met last month also.
Okay. Also, you discuss about Toxic anytime?
Yeah. She talks about Toxic, the pre-production, everything. Yeah, and we have this WhatsApp group with all of us together. So we get the updates.
So you know what is happening in Toxic now?
Yes, I know, but I'm not allowed to speak.
Slowly she's getting there.
Okay. Okay. I think it was very nice talking to you. People behind us are actually kind of hurrying us up.
They must be doing this.
Yes. Very nice talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.